So, I mean, I'm currently looking for an institution for sure, but I'm definitely not going to pretend like there aren't issues in organized religion. There are, and they need to be addressed and fixed. So.
Let's bring in Dr. Waldy from Harvest Bible Church. He is back here, Anthony, on the back row. When you hear young people talk like this, many churches have ministry services that have outreach programs to young people, but when you hear young people talking like this, how does that leave you feeling, Dr. Waldy?
It saddens me. It saddens me, and there's a lot of work to do, but it's a very simple thing. You know, God, the only explanation for why there's something and not nothing is that there is a God. It's the only logical reason. Otherwise, you take everything in an infinite regress of time. I came from my parents, they came from their parents. When and where did it start? The only logical answer is that there is a God. We know it's very simple. God became man. He became man. He took on flesh in the man of Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus lived our life. He did everything we couldn't do because he's God in the flesh. He died our death. And those who receive him by faith are saved. This young lady here has a beautiful Astros shirt on. I'm a big Astros fan. She is identifying herself right now as an Astros fan. When they won in 2017, she said, "What? We won, didn't you?" Yeah. And she didn't play anything. I didn't see her out there.
I was happy.
Well, we won. She's identifying with the Houston Astros, and their victory is our victory. The victory that Jesus Christ won on the cross, when he was raised 3 days later, is our victory. We identify with him through faith. Now, any church that teaches that simple truth, these young people, they're not dumb. They are brilliant. I find that these millennials are sharp people. They're tired of the garbage that goes on in church today. We see it in the news. I wouldn't be interested in organized religion either. Organized religion is man-made. It's a man-made group of rules for a man-made God. But the God of the universe has revealed himself in Christ. And it's a simple way to worship him. We don't worship him with rules or anything. I worship Christ to say thank you. My whole life is about saying thank you to the God who saved me from my wretchedness. Because I was born a sinner.
Let's bring Bishop into this. Bishop, how do we convince, for those who say they have had enough of the church or organized religion, to come back or at least take a second look?
Well, first of all, let's identify. The millennials now, like a lot of people, are looking at church as a religion. Religion is getting a lot of people sent to hell. The church was never established for a religion. It was established for a relationship with Christ. Christ did not come to establish no religion. He came to restore the relationship. And according to the Word of God, he simply says that forsaken not the assemble. So simply saying we have to come together as believers of Christ, so that we can establish our relationship with him. Our identity is connected to his divinity, and we cannot move or operate without the power of God. Our very essence of breathing right now, moving, all comes from God. Now to hear the millennials, I'm like, doctor, it kind of saddens my heart because they have been, you talk about brainwashed, you know, they've been in church, and they have heard, they have seen or been exposed to the negative side of church. Now the millennials are just like everybody else. The one thing that we are dying for is a relationship. There's confusion and mess on your job, but you still go. You get what I'm saying? There's confusion and brokenness in your families, but you're still at the family reunion. You know, you're still identifying with them. So
before we take our quick break, let's bring Pastor Alan Lamar Patterson in to hear what he has to say. What about being disillusioned with the church, Pastor?
Well, I think it all goes back. My father, A. Lewis Patterson Jr., stated that what is neglected, or rather what is not protected in one generation, will be neglected in the next generation and then rejected by the next generation. So we got to ask the question, what has been rejected in this generation? And then what was it that was neglected in my generation? And what was it that was not protected in the previous generation? And I would declare it is the creativity. The creativity of what? The creativity of the church, the creativity of Christ, and the creativity of the cross. All three of these things brought something new. So what happened was, in the previous generation, they developed their song.